Okay guys, today we have Dave DuFour and Tim Cato, and we'll be doing the Victor Wembanyama Draft, aka the Tall People Draft. The rules are simple. 1. You must draft 10 players from a pool of current NBA players that are listed on NBA.com as 7 feet tall or taller, which means no Nikola Jokic, fellas. 2. You can't draft Chet Holmgren. Why? Because I forgot to include him on the list of eligible players. Sorry, Thunder fans. 3. Whoever has the best roster at the end, decided by you in the comments, wins. That being said, let's see who gets the first pick. Tim, we have a fun trivia game we use to decide who gets the first pick. And today's trivia question, Tim, we will give you the first guess because you are our guest. The question is, who was the tallest player to play in the NBA last season?
Last season, tallest player. Was it Boban Marjanovic?
Yes, but that is not the question. The question is, how tall is he listed on NBA.com?
7'4".
7'4". Okay. Tim, you got those answers correct. So
wow. I covered him, so
Yeah, this feels unfair.
Oh, yeah. I have favorites sometimes, Dave. I'm sorry.
I see it.
Tim, do you have a favorite Boban story?
I guess the best one is that he doesn't like flying. He gets anxious and he gets scared of flying. And whenever there's even mild turbulence, like he's freaking out. And when he was in Philly, he would always sit next to Jimmy Butler. I think it was Jimmy Butler. No, it was I'm thinking of Tobias. It was Tobias Harris. He would sit next to Tobias. And sometimes he would be, this is Tobias's words, he'd be so annoying about it that Tobias would walk up to the front of the plane, walk back, and tell Boban, "Hey man, I just talked to the pilots and they said everything's good." And Tobias absolutely did not talk to the pilots. He just went up there to make it seem like he did, and that would usually calm Boban down. That in a ginger ale, according to Kyle Anderson. Kyle Anderson said he was a big ginger ale drinker, although that was disputed because I later asked Boban about that, and he was like, "What are you talking about?" So maybe it was just a one-time thing.
Boban's way too ripped to be drinking ginger ale as much as he flies. I mean, let's just
that's true. Well, my first overall pick, if you guys want to hear it, it's going to be Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he's going to be my starting point guard. I really was focused on Luke Cornett, but at the very last second, I just had to change of heart.
Without getting a Jokic or a Giannis with my first pick, I need to think about shooting and ball handling and scoring, and it is actually leading me away from Joel Embiid. And this is, maybe it's too much too soon. He hasn't even played an NBA game at this point. But Victor Wembanyama, I think, is a guy that is going to be an all-timer. He plays like a guard, but he's 7'5". He's going to be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, I think, for every year of his career. So you've got that aspect as well. Only going to improve as a shooter and a decision maker, in my opinion, when you see the IQ on display. And you just, just watching him in preseason, every single game, he does like 2 or 3 things I've just never seen someone pull off before. So I'm going to put my money right on Victor Wembanyama and go with him. I think that he is can't miss. And in this scenario, you just got to do it. I need a guy who can play all 5 positions, and he's one of them.
Where are you playing?
He's probably going to be my starting point guard just because I know he can bring the ball up. I know he can shoot. Now, defensively, we all saw the video where he was out there guarding, the 6-foot guy. And obviously he guarded Steph Curry a couple of possessions in the preseason last week. We saw him block Andrew Wiggins. I think he legitimately can guard 1 through 5. Now, whether he can hold up to the rigors of a full game guarding a point guard, I don't know. But maybe we zone up and he's just our man in the middle, kind of floating around a little bit. But I think he's probably our starting point guard.
You said he hasn't played an NBA game yet, and I was so excited for you to say Derek Lively the second. But
no,
alas.
No.
And he's someone who plays as a 3, so feels like he might be my shooting guard, feels like he might be my 3. There's definitely, this exercise has a lot more value on the big men with skill. And this was the dilemma you had with Embiid. This is why I'm not going Embiid.
Right.
Is because we have a lot of options of people who can play the 5 very well. But I'm certain that Markkanen's game scales skill wise better to, being someone who's handling the ball more often on the perimeter, creating for others, running some big action, some pick and rolls. And so, give me the Finn. That's how I'm going.
Fantastic choice. And also, can play like small ball 5 in case you find,
we're drafting a team of all 7-footers.
You find 4 other guys who are way smaller than him for some reason. I like Lowry a lot.
All right. You're not wrong, but you are, Dave.
Yeah. Oh, no. I'm totally wrong, but I'm totally right here in taking Joel Embiid. I'm going with the Twin Towers. It should have been the starting front court for France in next year's Olympics, but Joel Embiid, he wants to win a gold medal. So he's going Team USA, but we're going to put him and Victor together. Joel at the 5, Victor at the 1. Good luck scoring against either one of those guys. I mean, we're going to be able to stop you on the defensive end and punish you on the other end with an inside out game that, frankly, I don't know if Tim's team has at this point through 2 picks, because Giannis is okay in the post, but he's more of a pick and roll guy. And I don't know if Lowry's a good enough shooter to make you worry about Giannis as a screener, and vice versa. Is
well,
Giannis
who is
good enough? Because I know Giannis is going to be your point guard. Is he a good enough shooter?
You know who is a good enough shooter? Karl Anthony Towns, my 3rd pick. I'm actually quite surprised that you went and beat here, because I think I just got the 2 best shooters in this entire collection of 7-footers that we're drafting from.
It is possible that you did. And it's going to force me to pivot quite a bit, because it was going to be my next pick was Karl Anthony Towns. I was hoping that you were going to get sidetracked and think too much about the defensive end.
Dave, I am laser focused. I am fully locked into this, and I'm not even seeing a way that I could get sidetracked.
Yeah. Well,
only the path in front of me. And the path in front of me is drafting a better team than you.
Oh, well, I mean, that's just not going to happen. So I'm going to go with Kristaps Porzingis for the exact reason you just laid out. I need shooting. I need a wing player or a big guard. And Tim, you and I, we've had conversations over the years about how Porzingis, he styled his game kind of Kobe Bryant-esque. And so he's probably going to be my 2 guard. Shoots 30-footers, can shoot them early shot clock, can bail you out of possessions. I think with a backcourt of Wembanyama and Porzingis, man, that's a lot of length. Good luck.
There's a lot of players I sort of like a little bit better than this player I'm about to draft, just in terms of how they kind of fit onto teams. But I have Cat, and we've literally seen him play with Rudy Gobert. I do need a screen setter for Giannis, and I think he makes sense here. So give me Gobert with my 4th pick.
That's crazy.
And he's going to be a center, my 7-footer. I've just drafted the first 7-footer that's actually going to play center for me. But a Giannis Gobert pick and roll is a serious thing when you're spacing the court with Markkanen and Cat on, both corners or wings.
Yeah. Wow. Rudy Gobert off the board. All right. Well, I mean, I have him ranked 4th, so I'll just go ahead and go with it. We're going to own the glass, because Brook Lopez is one of the best team rebounders, maybe in NBA history. Great center field defender, can space the floor. Happy to stand in the corner on the offensive end and just space it out. But he also can shoot the above the break 3. So again, I get more shooting, get more toughness in the interior, more rebounds, more wins than Tim Cato. That's what we're looking at right here.
Dave, that's the best pick of the draft so far.
Thank you.
Big Brook Lopez fan.
It's huge.
I considered him.
He might be 7 feet, but he's the biggest guy on this list.
I will say this already. My team is it's a small team of all centers, of all 7-footers. We do not.
Right.
We got a lot of guys who don't play 7 feet despite being that. And I think the haters would even say that's true to Rudy Gobert at times.
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying that.
I just watched him in the World Cup.
Yeah.
Josh Giddey stole his lunch.
So I need some offensive creation. I need like playmaking. That's what I feel like I'm light on, because Giannis as a point guard, it's Giannis as a point guard, so I'm not upset at that. But I need something else, for the guy who's going to be my nominal power forward. And I think that's Sabonis. He's in this list, right? I swear I just saw him, and then
he is in the list.
him.
Although,
yeah, okay,
again,
there he is.
I question NBA.com's measuring tape here. I just don't think Sabonis is actually 7 feet tall.
Well,
we're gonna have to ask Sam Amick to give us.
Well, this is the investigative journalism that I think the Athletic should be doing.
Yeah,
looking into player heights. I guess there's literally been many stories written about this, but we're going to do it better. We're going to do it again.
All right, man. So I feel like I've got the rebounding under control. I've got shooting under control. I've got ball handling under control. The one area of the court where I'm kind of lacking, I need a guy who can hit the mid-ranger. So I'm going to go with DeAndre Ayton. I need a killer from the mid-range. He also was great post-game. I mean, he's got that little jump hook that he hits like 80% of the time. You don't worry as much about him on the defensive end. He does have good feet, so he can play some on the perimeter, but you've got those two giants on the inside. So I think DeAndre Ayton is as sort of my 3. It works. It doesn't matter. He doesn't have to play super physical. He gets to stay outside, probably shoot more threes than he has in his career, but definitely can eat up the mid-range when it's made available. I mean, the guy was like a 55% mid-range shooter the last couple seasons. So huge for us to be able to get a guy of that caliber who can take some shots that we're going to need come playoff time.
Okay. So go for it.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that, yeah, if you need, late in the shot, you need a bailout, you need a contested 15-footer, DeAndre Ayton's gonna give that to you. If you need him to drive to an open basket, DeAndre Ayton's gonna give you a contested 15-footer.
Yeah.
He's great at that.
All we need is the contested
any situation.
Yeah.
Could he take 2 dribbles and get a layup? No, contested 15-footer. He's fantastic at it. He might make it.
So that being said, before we pick our benches, right now we have Tim with the starting lineup of Giannis, Lauri Markkanen, Cat, Sabonis, and Gobert, versus Dave's starting lineup of Wembanyama, Porzingis, Ayton, Brook Lopez, and Joel Embiid.
Monster squad. It's a new dream team, actually.
I think there's a clear winner.
Yeah, pretty clear.
We'll see how the bench plays, though. We'll see how the bench plays.
So I am worried how much size Dave has, and like these are big beefy guys that are going up against, as I said, some of my guys that play a little smaller, that are a little bit more skill focused. I'm going to take the beefiest starting level player, not just the guy that's all size, but the beefiest player left on the board with a proven starting track record, and he's going to be my backup center, Mitchell Robinson.
Very good offensive rebounder, good passer. Yeah, I like it. He's a guy who could play with pretty much anybody. You don't want him shooting and you don't want him dribbling, but as long as he doesn't have to do those two things, I mean, that's a great pick.
I've got a lot of shooting and dribbling, and I'm gonna, when I get off this call and I call Robinson to let him know that he's on my team, I'm gonna tell him there's no reason to practice jumpers anymore.
Never.
We've got that handled.
Yeah, got him taken care of. For me, I need a guy who can defend and who can run pick and rolls with Victor Wembanyama. I'm gonna go with a completely underrated center, Western Conference guy, super solid, Ivica Zubac. Just overlooked, given away by the Lakers to the Clippers once, overlooked here by my guy Tim Cato. But super solid. I had him actually ranked 5th on my board, but knew I could get him in a later round because who's thinking about Zubac? Just me.
Yeah. Well, I think about Zubac plenty, man.
And he'd be great in Dallas.
I often, just take an afternoon and I'm like, let's think about him. I'm just not thinking about him to draft him to my team.
Got you.
Yeah. He's not forgotten, though. I knew he was on the list. Okay. I'm going to address my backup point guard right now. How does that sound?
Okay.
Do you have any guesses? You don't have to.
Poku.
You don't have to say them out loud.
Got to be
I know who it
Poku.
is.
Got to be Poku.
Man, going Plum Dog, Mason Plumlee.
No.
Wait, Mason is the saucy one, right? Out of Miles. Mason's the
Mason
saucy
is the one that gets saucy.
I got scared all of a sudden. I'm trying to remember the two. No, Mason is great. He has highlight reels of his dribbling and around the back, around the back dribbles and highlight passes. He's a point guard to me, and he's going to be that for my team, and he's going to be everything that we need when Giannis just needs a break.
I mean, Bull has those highlight reels too.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I don't really have a rebuttal to that, but
Mason Plumlee is like a worse version of Domantas Sabonis. I could argue. I see your vision.
Yeah.
He can handle a little bit. He fouls a lot. And so
he's a backup for me. I'm not worried about that.
10 minutes. Yeah, it's fine. He just puts the other team in the bonus, and then your starters have to crawl out of that hole. It's no big deal.
Dave, what do you want?
Man, I mean, the trickiest part is on-ball creation, right? Like, it's ball handling. It's having a guy who can, do some stuff off the dribble. Again, I feel like I solved the shooting issues. I think I got to go with Pokusevski, Alexei Pokusevski. He throws some crazy passes, but he can handle the ball. He does like to pass. He's not a good shooter, not a great passer either, but he does try some stuff. But the biggest thing is just having another guy who can handle, who can dribble, who can drive, kick, run, pick and roll, and not like a guy who I even had in my top 12 on the list, but just need more ball handling.
Well, I think I need a backup shooter, a bench shooter. And I'm looking at two names right now. I'm actually really torn between this. I was set on this, and then I just I think so. I was gonna go Frank Kaminsky, but I'm a big salty Adalma fan. Santi? I thought it was salty.
Santi.
Yeah, Santi Adalma. Yeah, Santi. So
Santi.
Yeah. And plus, I think, he can bring taste and wine. He can bring some Spaniard vineyards. Yeah. Yeah. A good Tempranillo. There's nothing like it.
No such thing as a bad Tempranillo, Tim.
You could make that argument, and you'd be correct.
That's right.
And so I appreciate you bringing. So he's gonna be my backup too.
Okay, Santi Aldama.
Yeah. How do we feel about that?
Not bad. I'm gonna go a different way now. I need some more beef. Got Team USA experience this past summer World Cup.
Well, barely.
Walker Kessler, who might average 4 blocks a game this season. I mean, this guy blocks everything. And so late game possession, need a stop. This guy is coming in and just sealing off the paint for us. So Walker Kessler, I'm very high on Walker Kessler. I think in the same vein as Rudy Gobert was able to be Defensive Player of the Year, I think Walker Kessler is going to grow into that sort of defensive center, Brooke Lopez style, being able to play center field. I think he's going to eventually be able to shoot it pretty well. So I like Walker Kessler as like a long-term development sort of guy.
I'm going to go, man, there's part of me that feels like I just should go get another beefy boy. And this guy that I'm about to pick is quite beefy and strong. Yusuf Nurkic. I think he works as a backup power forward, behind Sabonis. He's got a little bit of the Sabonis skill set. Now, not as effective at it, but good passer, good offensive hub as kind of in the high post or working out of the low post, and give you some post move buckets. So I like him backing up Sabonis. And that is my 9th pick.
Dave, you seem puzzled.
I worry about the vibes on this team. It's the only thing I worry about. And so this next pick, we need a glue guy. So I'm taking my guy, Boban Marjanovic.
How could you do this to me?
I
mean, Tim, were you going to take him?
Yeah, he was going to take him.
I was going to take him with my last pick. Yeah,
of course, I had to beat him to the punch because I need to take Boban before my last pick. But Boban just super important to the team vibes, team dynamic. We'll pair him up. Like probably Pokuševski would sit next to him on the plane and keep him company and keep make him feel comfortable on the road trips.
I don't mind that. I was actually gonna move Plumlee to my backup. Plus,
I wanted more beef.
I was gonna make Boban my backup point guard because he loves to play point guard. He doesn't play as much in like actual NBA minutes these days.
Yeah.
So he still gets in work. Often playing against like staff and other end of bench players. Like when he was in Dallas, he was always scrimmaging way after practice, and he would always play point guard. He loves playing point guard. I don't know if he's, should be playing point guard even on this make-believe team, but it would have been fun. And so that's what I would have done. And I really hate that you took that away from me, Dave. And it's something I'm not going to forget for a long time.
I'm only here to steal your joy.
Yeah, you are. And you know what? You have successfully done it. And that's really
who's your last pick?
It hurts me.
Who's your last pick?
I'm going to take it doesn't. I don't know how much this fits positionally, but I have to just take who I think is the best player on the board, best player left. And although you can make an argument, it's Jakob Poeltl. I really like Isaiah Hartenstein. I really like Isaiah Hartenstein. I think he's a really, really solid player, and he's going to be my final pick.
I like Hartenstein a lot. When that guy was playing at Hoop Summit, before he went to college, he was shooting free throws and it had a side spin because he was such a bad thumber. It was amazing.
That's my shooting.
You don't see that.
Well.
Lou Dort kind of similar. It's very weird to thumb that much. You can be a good shooter and a thumber. It's just rare. Like Steph Curry is a thumber. But yeah, Hartenstein. Yeah, I've been watching him his whole career. For my last pick, it's the reason that I took Boban 9th, because I think we needed a vibes guy. We're kind of a veteran team, but we've got some young guys. Got Poku, who's pretty young. You got Wemby, who's pretty young. I think Boban's going to get along with those guys. But the biggest thing is just want a good role model for Bol, who, if the skills hit, that guy would be incredible. Because we see flashes, and I envision a scenario where the backcourt is actually Bol and Victor Wembanyama. I've been rooting for the Spurs to get Bol for some reason, right? I just want to see what happens when Bol stands on one side of the paint and Victor stands on the other side of the paint, and they lock arms, and that's the defense. So Bol
them and Poku
joining.
You got Poku as well.
Listen, but Bol and Victor Wembanyama are just built different than the rest of these guys, and I think that putting them together is it's a little bit of like, my Dr. Frankenstein's laboratory, right? I just want to see what happens. Can Bol come out of this? I don't know. Will we call it a career funk, where he really just hasn't seemed to have been able to stick anywhere, whether it's personality or play or injuries or whatnot. So I think when you insulate him with a guy like Boban, put him with some players out there that are going to push him, I think Bol works out and rounds my team out perfectly.
One question I have for you guys is, realistically, like genuinely, how many wins is your team getting in a regular season of the NBA?
Realistically,
we played Tim's team 4 times, right? Will we say that?
Yeah,
4 times.
Sure.
Well, that's 4 losses.
So you're gonna be you are you about to say you're gonna be 4 in 78?
No, it's 4 losses for you. I don't know. You know what? I'll be conservative. We win 75 games.
Okay.
If you get every rebound and you block every shot, you probably are going to win a lot of games.
Yeah. It's so hard to this is so far away. This is so removed from how the NBA actually works to imagine these guys together. I really do think that Markkanen and Cat can, cosplay as shooting guards competently. Like the defensive issues is what we're worried about. I think our teams are so big that we're just going to choose to wall off the rim, but we're going to give up so many open threes. Our rotations are just going to be a beat behind.
Well, I don't know if you've seen, but my guy Victor Wembanyama has been blocking threes. I mean, like Klay Thompson, which he's got one of the fastest triggers in the NBA, blocked his three the other day. I'm not worried about giving up threes. Matter of fact, please take those threes over top of, my 7'5" wonder kid.
I've also got four of my starters are all stars. So just on talent alone, I legitimately think this lineup would look very clunky and weird. But it's winning 48 games.